Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by thanking each one of you for being part of the journey towards a fair start in life for every child and for also being part of the UNICEF family. What makes this day special and important is that today we are celebrating 70 years of commitment by governments across the world to put children at the center of our work. The achievements we can celebrate today were only made possible because of the courageous and committed people working to reach the most vulnerable children and the government, donors, consular missions, fearless advocates, private sector, civil society organizations, families, children, and supporters from around the world. Without your support, we would not have made it to where we are today. On this occasion, I take you through the kaleidoscope of UNICEF in its global, national, and the Maharashtra journey, highlighting key milestones in the 7 decades of achievement for children. As you all know, UNICEF was established in 1946 by the United Nations to safeguard the lives of children struggling to survive in the aftermath of the World War II. In 1953, we became a permanent member of the UN and were established as a fund. The E in UNICEF became less distinct and United Nations Children's Fund became popular. In 1959, the UN adopted the Convention on the Rights of the Child at a historical summit. This was done at the request of the government of Poland and a working group set up by the United Nations Commission on Human Rights. Government delegates formed the core of the drafting group, including the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee, the International Labour Organization, UNICEF, and the World Health Organization, as well as a number of non-governmental organizations. The 80s decade saw the focus shift to women in development, a strategy that emphasizes to engage women in decision making rather than as beneficiaries of development only. The Women Development Program gave way to the focus on child survival and development that includes health, nutrition, and clean environment for all boys and girls everywhere. Within this was the GOBI initiative, the G for growth monitoring, the O for oral rehydration to prevent diarrheal dehydration, B for breastfeeding, and I the immunization. The development needs of children once the survival is ensured became the next focus in the years to come, with education taking center stage. Education that was inclusive and promoted equal opportunities for both boys and girls, including the differently abled. The MENA icon became associated with the need to attend, learn, and graduate to higher levels of schooling. The UN Convention on the Rights of the Child document finally got the stamp of approval from over 57 countries in that year. The UNCRC is now legally binding on 197 member states as we celebrate today. 1995 saw the launch of the Global 2020 Initiative, a compact between the industrialized and the developing nations to fund social services in developing nations. And now for a sneak preview of India's milestones in partnership with UNICEF. The start of UNICEF's partnership and journey in India with the setting up of the first penicillin plant in 1949 with the Government of India. UNICEF supported with equipment and technical assistance. In the mid-50s, we joined hands with Amul, becoming part of a great beginning of what we now know as the White Revolution in India. In the late 70s, we supported the government in fighting drought and developing the world-famous India Mark series of hand pumps, which have supplied water to millions of people in rural areas. And now the technology is exported to more than 40 countries around the world. Recently, in 2014, India celebrated the elimination of polio from the country, thanks to the commitment and perseverance of millions of health and frontline workers. UNICEF also has in its kitty the honor of supporting the Government of India in eliminating maternal and neonatal tetanus. Millions of children now reach their third birthday without the threat of this deadly disease. And now, closer to home in Maharashtra, the following is an overview of the gains made by the state in partnership with UNICEF. While Maharashtra has successfully rolled out national programs like the India Newborn Action Plan and the Integrated Maternal Neonatal Childhood Illness, resulting in the Millennium Development Goals for child mortality and maternal mortality much ahead of the target year of 2015, Maharashtra stands out in innovations for equipping the primary health centers in tribal areas with solar power in joint partnership with UNICEF. The clean energy system developed in Maharashtra is now being advocated as a means to achieve the sustainable development goals of the nation. We led the way in the establishment of the first ever nutrition mission in the country, a model being replicated across the country in UP and Jharkhand, for example. Encouraged by the success, UNICEF leveraged the public-private partnership between the Department of Women and Child in the Government of Maharashtra, the Tata Trust and UNICEF to pilot the community management of acute malnutrition in Nandurbar. UNICEF hosted the Global Complementary Feeding Conference in 2015, bringing global expertise to carve out a roadmap to address dietary diversity in children, leading to the tabling of the Maternal Infant Young Child Nutrition Policy in the current December winter session in 2016. The roots of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan to make India open defecation free by 2019 had its roots in the Sant Gadge Baba Swachhata Abhiyan that emphasized on community involvement and was launched way back in Maharashtra in 2002. The state is proud of achieving the MDG goal for water by 2003, again ahead of the target year of 2015. An important milestone for the state was the Groundwater Regulation and Management Act that includes regulation for drinking water for the first time. The Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen was operationalized to adapt to the state context, including the guidelines for menstrual hygiene management in partnership with UNICEF. The government has not just ensured free and compulsory education till elementary level with the passing of the Right to Education Act and rules in 2011, but emphasized on learning outcomes in the School Excellence Program in the Municipal Corporation Schools of Greater Mumbai, and now more recently with the recent government regulation on improving the quality of learning among children. UNICEF was and is a close partner in this journey. Maharashtra has been the pioneer with the Bal Sangopan scheme that provides foster care to destitute and homeless children and seeks to prevent institutionalization of children. UNICEF was critical in developing the rules and guidelines of this scheme, as also for Manodhairya, a scheme that aims to provide assistance to victims of rape and child abuse. UNICEF leveraged its interstate presence to facilitate a memorandum of understanding with the government of West Bengal and Maharashtra to address the victims of exploitation and trafficking. Governance is a crucial element of our programming, and the Rajiv Gandhi Panchayat Sashактikaran Abhiyan was influenced by the early learnings of UNICEF's intervention in decentralized panchayat level planning. The state child policy also received technical support from UNICEF. A program to empower adolescent girls and boys has now been scaled up by the state Human Development Vision in its 123 blocks. The pro-poor city-urban plans, followed by the community-based disaster response to the deluge, provided UNICEF hands-on experience in urban areas. In cognizance of the Sustainable Development Goal of Climate and Urban Change, UNICEF Maharashtra hosted the Global Urban Conference in October 2016, which included rich field visits to both communities and institutions within Mumbai. In its 70 years of existence, UNICEF has transformed itself from being just the little voice of hope inside children to helping their voices being heard. We are leveraging results for children, focusing on out of the box solutions which could be both technological and non technological. This marks our journey from birth to 70 years. I, like all of you, have been honored to be part of this exciting journey and believe that in this era of the Sustainable Development Goals, we are standing at the turning point of something very exciting and ambitious. We have the opportunity to ensure that no one gets left behind, that every voice is heard and included, and that every child born in this vast, beautiful, yet complex world around us gets the best start in life and is able to thrive and develop to his or her full potential. Your partnership and friendship counts for us as we embark on results for children. Quoting our first director, Maurice Pate, the bigger we can make the family of UNICEF friends, the better it is. Thank you for sparing your precious time to join us in this celebration. And thank yous at UNICEF are not an end, but an invitation to reinforce bonds. Highlighted by the simple thank you on the screen, a card that was sent by a 7-year-old Czechoslovakian girl to UNICEF for its work in her village in the post-World War, and which bore the seed for the greeting cards sale. Indeed, even today, it is still a means of fundraising in UNICEF.